Hey everyone, this is DJ from the Essentials Outdoors Co. I just wanted to take a little bit of a chance to talk about my buck saw and talk about my company. Let's assemble this guy. So I have the saw handle like this. Again, I'm gonna butt it against me, against my chest. And I'm gonna pull the windlass, like using that force against me. Now I'm gonna open it upside down. There we go. And tenon and mortise joints fit perfectly together. And now I'm just going to wand up the windlass. And there you have it. So I run Bear Essentials. I'm the founder and master sawmaker. I'm a firefighter full-time. This is actually just my hobby, believe it or not. A little bit about the company. About 4 or 5 years ago, I had an idea to make a beautiful saw. I didn't really know how to do any woodworking back then. I brought the idea to my grandfather, and he lives about an hour and a half away, but I drive up to spend time with him and work in his little garage shop. And he taught me everything there is to know about woodworking. So shout out Grandpa Norm. Some of you might have even met him at the Outdoor Adventure Show. I'm in Toronto, by the way, so if you guys are around, you might have met him. The company's come a long way since then, and now I make, I don't know how many. I made 250 these last years, somehow. Yeah, I make every single one by hand, and I'll show you how I do it and what's important to me for these saws. So first off, this is the Walnut Saw. It's a beautiful collapsible saw. The finish is linseed oil. It's really lightweight, weighs about a pound. Some of them go up to like 1.5 pounds. It all depends. Each piece of wood is different. Here's the Mahogany Buck Saw. It's super lightweight. Underneath you have the Bear Essentials Outdoors Co. Each saw is numbered. I number each saw just as a thank you for all my early supporters that have come along. We're at around 350, give or take, right now, and I just launched this company in February of last year. So shout out to all my early supporters, shout out to everyone who has supported me thus far, and everyone following along. Really appreciate it. So yeah, these are the two versions of saws I have. So why do I choose mahogany or walnut? Well, number one, they're incredibly rot resistant. I've tested out a whole bunch of different woods, maple, ash, like you name it. And so there's a perfect balance between being super lightweight, being durable, being rot resistant, and the hardness and strength of it. And what I mean by that is if you drop the saw, is it going to dent or is it going to chip? After testing out a whole bunch of woods, I came up with mahogany and walnut. These two woods are absolutely beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to collapse the saw down. So this guy right here is called a windlass. The purpose of it is to create tension on these parts of the handles, and then that in turn puts tension on the blade. So what you want to do is just unwind it, just normally like this. The middle piece crossbeam will unwind. So what I usually do is I'll fold the saw upside down so there's no risk of my hands getting hit by the blade. So there we go. And a very unique feature about my buck saws is the windlass will slide into these leathers here. So I invented this to lock in. That blade can't come out. When I was designing this saw, I had different thoughts on it. Do I want the blade to go in the back? Do I want it to go in the front? And I tried out everything. The blade going in the back, the problem I found with it is that eventually the blade starts chipping away at the handle. Also, if you're sawing for a decent amount of time and you put your hand there, this right here is going to start to chip away your hand. It just won't be as comfortable. And I've tested them out for hours. This one's very comfortable design. So anyways, I wanted the blade to go in and fold in that way. The problem is that creates kind of a hazard. So the blade could come out at any time, just like that. So there needs to be a way to lock it closed. So I came up with the idea of slipping in the windlass in the back into the leathers right there. So that locks it all closed. So now you have two pieces. I chisel these out. I use a table saw first and then I chisel them out. So that's the tenon and mortise joint, and they should fit perfectly into there, that's done with the router. So I've learned to do all these things through just sheer trial and error. I'm not a master woodworker of any kind. I've just really perfected this saw for like 5 years, almost every day. I think it's a thing of beauty now, and I think it's a work of art. I'm very proud of it. That's why I offer, obviously, the lifetime warranty for these guys. So if anything structural ever breaks in this saw, I'll 100% cover it. So it's not meant to break. It's meant to last your whole camping career and be passed on to future generations. Some people get their last name carved into here, or their kid's name, or anything really like that, because it's meant, you know, it's meant to be a high quality piece of gear that you only have to buy once. You only have to buy one saw, and then you keep this thing for life. So anyways, that's my little philosophy on it. Let's get into the storage cases. So learn to sew to develop the prototypes for these bad boys. So this is a basic, just a basic case for the saw. So how it works is slide that in and slide this. It's made of waxed canvas. It's one of the better materials you could use for outdoor gear. Pretty rain resistant. And you just, Jesus, struggling, tie this together. That's all there is to it. Tie it. So there you go. There's the case. Generally, some people have a case, some people don't. So I just sell the saws solo as they are, and then you could add on a case if you want. Again, this is all made in Canada. I cut the patterns myself, and then I have a friend stitch it together for me. She's very, very good at stitching. She's a pro, so it's all stitched, it's heavy duty. Now let's get into one of the cooler designed cases. So this guy holds a saw and an axe. How does it work? You get your buck saw, slide it in the back side. And slide it in. There's lots of room for it there. And now you could actually fit pretty much any axe into here. The case was designed for a 19-inch axe like this, but honestly you could fit in, I've tested it with some pretty large axes, and they all work just fine. Fold this over, and you're gonna wanna carry it on your back this way, so it hangs like that. I'll just kinda show you. I'm gonna throw it on my back. And there it is. So the weight is hugging nice to my hip. Just like that. The other way, if you want. Again, weight. As long as you're not carrying it like this. I mean, you can carry it like this. It's uncomfortable though. And the weight pulls right off your back. See, like that? So, again, just have the bear paw facing up and have the words facing up. So that's the saw and axe sling for you. This is the sleeve, this is the saw and axe sling. Again, I'll show you the mechanics of assembling this guy and disassembling. So, undo the windlass, remove the center beam, fold upside down. It's usually the best way. And now I'm gonna butt the handle against my chest, and I'm gonna slide in windlass into the leathers. There we go. So that's the best way to do it. There you go, you can put that in your case. Okay, so let's weigh this guy. So, oh, here we go. 1.2. So it's 1.2 pounds, this one. It's way lighter than you think for being completely made out of wood. Mahogany Buck Saw. They all, for the most part, look similar. That's because the mahogany grain is pretty consistent. It's a beautiful grain, lighter color saw. A lot of people like that. The walnut saws have a bunch of variation. They're all different. Every single saw is unique, which is really nice. So this is a walnut, and it's a darker grain. It's like kind of a mixed grain walnut. You can see it goes darker, lighter. The other side too. Here's another darker walnut. And another darker walnut. But it has actually a nice light handle to it too. They all have different patterns to them too. See the grain pattern on this one? It's kind of cool. Other questions you might have. Okay, so let's talk about the blades. My saws have drywood blades in them. They're Bahco 21-inch drywood blades. You can see it here. Blades are pretty unreal, and they're like 10 bucks a piece, which is kind of the nice part. So basically when I designed the saw, I just wanted all the pieces to be, well, you don't need to come to me to get a replacement piece, let's put it that way. So the actual wood frame, that'll last you your lifetime. The blade itself, you might want to change that eventually. If you do, you could order it off Amazon or some outdoor stores. Any 21-inch blade will fit, but I use Bahco. That's my preferred one. Well, you could get the blades off me as well, but yeah, like I said, you can get them kind of anywhere. The screws, so these guys are Chicago screws. These are brass. I could sell extra ones. There generally won't be a problem, but I sell replacements of pretty much everything. The leathers, I'll sell replacement leathers. They will probably wear out in X amount of years. I don't know, because I've never had one wear out. I've been running this company for 5 years now. Like I said, never really had one wear out, but I'm assuming one day they will. You get backup ones with your order if you really want, or when the time comes, just order them. This is 550 paracord, so just really strong paracord. You could switch it to, I have a buddy who uses a really bright red one, my buddy Nick. I like everything in the kind of neutral, earthy tones. That's just my style, but I get some people want a brighter one so they don't like kind of place the saw down and lose it or something like that. Let's talk about the handles. The handles are ergonomically designed so it fits your hand. It's like a pistol grip. So at first I had straight handles, and after a couple hours of sawing, that would really hurt your hands. Now, doing this contour is really hard to do. Woodworking wise, yeah, it's a challenge. It's easier just to do the straight, but I like the pistol grip. Just for after hours of sawing, it's beautiful. You could leave this guy out in the rain. This blade is stainless steel, and you can leave it out in the cold, you can leave it out in the winter, whatever you want. I left it out at like -20 while it was snowing. Next day, pick it up, start sawing again. The only thing is you have to dry off the blade because it'll get like a thin coat of rust over it, even though it is stainless steel. Just dry off the blade before you collapse it. That's the only thing. General maintenance would be linseed oil. That's what I put on this. So just maintain it as you would like an axe handle or a knife handle. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has supported me thus far, and just all the friends I met online so far. You guys have been great. If you haven't officially met me, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate this. Oh, before I finish off, so I will be coming out with a few new products soon. I know people have been really trying to get hats, and yeah, I'll keep it a little bit of a secret, the new products for now. But in terms of the actual saws and lead time, so basically I make these in batches. That's the only way I can get efficiency because they take hours to make. So I make them in batches, but then I complete them at various stages. So I'm always kind of working on saws. Usually the demand is outweighing the saws, so I don't usually have an inventory. Right now at the time of this video, I have a good stockpile of almost done saws, so I'm completing them as we go and I'm shipping them out kind of every day. So that being said, lead time to get one of these, within 2 weeks I could ship you a saw. That could completely change because it's kind of only me making these saws. Sorry if I explained that brutally, but yeah. Anyways, if you're ordering a saw, once you order it, I got you in the system and I'll get you one as soon as possible. Let's just keep it at that. Thanks guys. Again, here is the mahogany saw, here's the walnut. If you're on the fence about which saw to get, the mahogany saw is a little bit lighter. The walnut saw, I charge a little bit more for. That's because the walnut wood is more expensive and it's harder to work with as well. So I lose more saws while making them. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you guys very much for all this. Thank you for supporting locally made and handcrafted products. That's pretty cool of you. And yeah, talk to you online. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.